Hey now, what is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I was requested to do a top 10 best movies of the decade. Lots of people are doing it, and so I guess people wanted to know what my thoughts or what my list would look like. This was tough. Man, when I looked back and did my research and gathered all of my favorite movies from 2010 all the way up until now, there were so many films. Having to narrow it down to 10 was tough. It was not easy, so I hope you appreciate it. Let's jump right into at number 10, starting the list off, The Social Network. Here's a movie that if you just told me the premise, the backstory, the college years basically of Mark Zuckerberg, the creator of Facebook. This film follows how he created Facebook. You would think, yawn, boring, that's it. And it's a huge risk. It's a huge gamble. But when you have the performance by Jesse Eisenberg, who isn't always the best in movies or can be one dimensional, but in this film, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of layers to his performance, um, and David Fincher's directing, just the tone that he brought to it, the darkness. It's really fascinating to watch the story unfold. Number 9, Get Out. This trailer for this movie, I thought, wow, this must be a comedy, or this must be a parody of some sort. Not just because it's directed by Jordan Peele, who came from Key and Peele and comedy and whatnot, but no, this was a premise where this white girl is bringing her black boyfriend to her white family. And it's a horror film. Chaos ensues, and you think to yourself, like me, I'm black. I've dated white women. I've had to meet their white family. It can be awkward. You go there and you think, man, well, this can go a couple different ways. I really hope it's not going to be a long night. And so that's there. That's grounded. That's relatable. That all is a story that can be told, and making the white people the villains. That's another thing. Making them the scary part of the story is what I appreciate the most. But then it takes a turn. Then it gets a little out there. It gets more sci-fi-y, but I like it. It's in a good way. It goes to the next level, and I think that's how Jordan Peele was able to cement what his style to horror would be for years to come. Number 8, Inception. Christopher Nolan took a break from the Dark Knight trilogy to give us an idea that he had for years, about dreams and how dreams work and what you can do with dreams, and if you're able to manipulate your dreams or go inside someone else's dreams, and what that would look like and what that would entail. And I love how the story plays out. Leonardo DiCaprio, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Great cast, but it's so bizarre. I remember so many of my friends saying that they had to see this movie 2 or 3 different times to fully understand the plot and the script. And I remember just seeing it the one time and going, yeah, I was able to soak this in. I was able to take this in. You really do have to zone in and pay full attention, but I couldn't get enough of it. At number 7, Chronicle. Chronicle was a movie that absolutely came out of nowhere for me. It just, I saw it and I thought, man, not only did we finally find a refreshing new way at doing found footage, because found footage can be so overplayed, can be so just, really, we're doing this again. But we were able to do it in a superhero kind of horror genre, where you have these 3 friends in high school, and they all get superpowers of sorts in this cave, and then the movie is, you follow them enjoying these powers, having fun with it, doing everything that me and my friends would do if we got powers. Just the fun that they have, the things that they do, especially when they're at the store and they're messing with people. It's a lot of fun to watch those parts. But then Dane DeHaan, when he starts to turn because he's bullied, because he's picked on, because he's a loner, because he just wants to fit in but it's not working out, to see the dark turn that he takes with these powers and just how far over the line he goes. And the movie takes dark turns. Number 6, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I remember when they first announced that they were rebooting Planet of the Apes, and I thought, why? Just why? The original film is still as great as it is, and then Tim Burton tried to remake it, and man, did that fail miserably. So I thought, just let it be done. Just go away. And then Rise was able to present a story that was a prequel, but did something different with not just the Caesar character in James Franco, but the CGI. That new way of bringing the apes looked so realistic. The motion capture, I was so into it. So in Dawn, the sequel, they went that much further, and now Caesar is essentially the main character. The apes feel like the main characters. Yes, you have your human elements there, you have your human characters doing what they're doing, but it's really about Caesar. It's really about the apes. Number 5, 21 Jump Street, another reboot or remake of an old TV show that did anyone really care about? Sure, it was there. It existed. It was one of Johnny Depp's big breaks, but come on, we're going to regurgitate this. I just thought Hollywood, you've run out of ideas. You're so unoriginal. I saw the trailer. I remember seeing the trailer and thinking, hey, it looks very generic, looks very typical of the comedy. Didn't really make me laugh. And Jonah Hill was iffy on me because I had just seen The Sitter, which I hated. Channing Tatum, I definitely didn't have much to think about. But watching this movie, I laughed my ass off. This was so damn funny. Jonah Hill brought it. Channing Tatum showed me a completely different side to himself with comedy and how he was willing to make fun of himself, how he was willing to be the butt of the joke, and how he was willing to make himself just look stupid. The joke when they go to high school and everyone's making fun of how old they look compared to everyone is great because they never point out stuff like that with older actors playing high school kids. And then with Channing Tatum thinking that he knows what's cool because he used to be cool, and it's not cool in high school anymore. Today's high school is completely different than back then. Those were just some of the great jokes. But even the meta jokes, even the jokes where they fully embrace the fact that, yeah, we know people are going to think this is going to be lame. We know that people think this is going to suck, but we are going to address that. We're going to have fun with it. We're going to point out how played out this could be because we know that our jokes are funnier. The Johnny Depp cameo was great. There's so much fun to be had. Number 4, I hesitated on putting this movie on the list because I didn't want to overload this list with superhero movies and Marvel movies because I honestly could have made 10 movies on here that were all superhero movies if I wanted to, but I had to do this because the X-Men franchise has been so up and down over the years. The good, the bads, the horrible, but this film brought it all together. This film took some of the best with the original cast and the newer cast, and it undid all of the issues. It undid all of the horribleness that people like Brett Ratner and X-Men Origins Wolverine, just the people behind that film, the people who didn't know what to do with this property. And it undid all of that to give us the characters, the send-off that they deserved. It sucks that they still made 2 X-Men movies after this. This definitely should have been the last one. But when you see James McAvoy giving a great performance of a broken Professor Xavier, Michael Fassbender being good as Magneto, yeah, Wolverine time traveling, you have the original cast, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, even Halle Berry. It was great to see them back because we grew with them as these characters from the old films and telling a story that you only could tell because of that original cast and the new cast and blending them together. This was just greatly told, greatly put together. That ending where we finally got certain characters given a good little moment there. I mean, I cheered in the theater when I saw it. At number 3, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. how do you not have this movie on your list, given the visuals, given the jokes? I mean, there are jokes flying at you left and right, but they're all funny. They all work. So much energy is put into the script. It's so smart. It's just so much going on here. Michael Cera, an actor that really isn't the greatest, let's be honest, but he works in this role as this kid who's just trying to date Ramona Flowers. Mary Elizabeth Winstead quickly became one of my favorite actresses because of this movie and everything that he had to do to fight her 7 evil exes just to get a date with her. And all of these exes and them having their own personalities to them. The video game feel that this movie had, because it was almost like he had to go through each and every X. He had to go through it like it was a video game level over and over again. And the effects, the music, especially Sex Bomb and their songs, just so much of this movie works. It sucks that it's as underrated as it is, and that I say underrated, and some people have issues with me using underrated. Yes, the people who have seen this movie, they love it and they enjoy it, and they speak highly of it. So yes, fine, but not enough people know about it. Not enough people have seen it. Not enough people talk about it that should. So that's why I say underrated. Maybe more so underappreciated. I really love this film. Number 2, Deadpool. I fully expected to never get a Deadpool movie, especially after how horrible he was used in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds, greatly casted, perfect casting, but again, I just thought it was wasted. And then if we ever did get it, it would not only be so many years from now, but they would recast it, right? There's no way they would bring Ryan back, but they did bring Ryan back. And the way how he put it upon himself to get this movie made, that just shows the passion that he was bringing to this project. And then the comic book accuracy that not only the costume had, but the type of humor, the breaking the fourth wall, the style that this character was, the violence of it, it being rated R, was so integral and important to this character, to this movie. His love story with Vanessa, Morena Baccarin, that's something that I could not believe how invested I got in their love story, how much I cared about when he had cancer and then it ruined them, and how he had to leave her, and then he got disfigured, and then he gets his powers, but he couldn't bring himself to talk to her. It's sad and it's tragic, and then you have all the dumb dick jokes in between. So this movie was just perfectly balanced when it came to the emotion and the funny goodness. But for my number 1 all-time favorite movie of the decade, you could probably guess because it hasn't been announced by now. Look, it's going to be a Marvel MCU movie. Yes, it will. And there's so many to name. There's so many that I could have put on there. It sucks that I only picked one, but the only reason why I picked one is because this represents the whole franchise. This basically represents every Marvel movie that came together and gave us the goodness that was Avengers Infinity War / Avengers Endgame. I'm putting them both together. Yes, I'm cheating, but it really does feel like a part 1, part 2. It does. It feels like when you put them together, now it's one complete story. Now it's a beginning and an end. And it's a culmination of 11 years, 23 movies. I could have put other films like The Winter Soldier, or Civil War, or Guardians, or all those other films that I love almost just as much. But when you get everything put together, when you get Captain America, when you get Iron Man, when you get Spider-Man, when you get all of these heroes, Black Panther, everyone all together in this one epic event, you get a perfect fleshed out villain like Thanos, who is more than relatable, more than understandable, somebody that some people found themselves rooting for and cheered that he won, wanted him to continue to win. It was insane, the emotions that I felt throughout both movies, especially that cliffhanger in Infinity War. I cry every time I watch it. I mean, this movie brought me the feels. It is cinema. It is something that I do consider to be a real film. Martin Scorsese. I'm not gonna go further than that. I adore these movies, the Marvel MCU. And so that's why those movies represent that. These last 10 years has almost been dominated by the MCU. So that's why it takes the number one spot as well. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of not only my top 10 best movies of the decade list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? But what are your movies? What are your 10 films from number 10 all the way to your favorite? I'd love to see it. I'd love to read it. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.